Yes. Good morning. Reverend Dr. Reuben L. Ramey. The Reverend Dr. Reuben L. Ramey is the youngest of the household of Reverend Dr. J. Carl and Amanda Ramey Ramey. He attended and graduated from Baptist Christian College and LBU in Shreveport, Louisiana, where he obtained his BA in Business Administration and Pastoral Studies. He has worked with and secured scholarships for many Bahamians to attend Wiley College in Marshall, Texas. As a community organizer and activist for over 20 years, Reverend Dr. Ramey has been awarded and recognized for his work in community crime prevention, heritage development, training and advancement of the nation's tourism products, and lectured with the Bahama Host Program. He is the president and founder of the Public Transit Association of the Bahamas, PTAB, and president of Bahamas Fleet Management Solutions Limited. Additionally, he is a two-time nominee of the Pacific Awards for his contribution to transportation in the Bahamas. He has preached throughout the United States and has served as associate pastor at the Morning Star Missionary Baptist Church in Shreveport, Louisiana, and St. Paul's Baptist Church in Fox Hill. Reverend Dr. Ramey is a strong family man with wife Natasha and 4 children. Let us give a round of applause. Now, I'll sing with me, please. Okay, 1, 2, 3. When I am down, I know my soul's so weary. When trouble comes and my heart burdens me, when I am still and breathing in the silence until you come and say a while away. Okay, my director saying take it down. Let's start again, please. Let's go lower. Someone with the alto. When I am down. Let's sing again. I know my soul's so weary. When troubles come and my heart burdens me, then I am still
Good morning again to everybody.
Good morning.
I enjoy you. Oh, good. That was very, very good. And thank you so much, because I was so break up. I was break up this morning. Brother Thompson picked me up from the airport, let me sleeping on the bench in the front of the airport, and I felt like someone disturbed me out of my bed, standing there in front of the airport. But they know I love this kind of environment. And I love this kind of people. I'm very, very cautious of where I go and what I do, because I'm not a good sugarcoater. I am mature, so I've been polished it a little bit, but I ain't no good sugarcoater. So if you want cavities, don't ask me to come around. But I love people. And what sticks with me is the belief that the scripture says that how we should treat people, because we never know when we're going to be entertaining anyone. I believe there's a uniqueness in everyone. That's why for me it's so important to discern each one of your spirits. And that's why the touch and the look and that's how I discern people's spirit. So when we talk about you, I want to say special thanks to our principal, Mr. Kinsey Rule and Wallace. I'll get a whole joint chief of staff right here, all the top generals in the room, and indeed to all of you. This is a very personal thing for me, because I have a very, very personal belief and disposition as it comes to your profession and you, the people who make it a profession. I personally believe that every teacher, period, without excuse, and refining it to every good teacher, is a national hero. And that's something I don't say in fluff to you, because I don't believe in flattery. The Bible teaches that you got to be careful of people who come with flattery. That's what the devil does. So I believe that you must speak truth and love. So when I say something to you, you could ask me the question and answer period to establish the reason why I said it. I believe you are all national heroes. So much so that I would take the risk of comparing it to the death of the sailors in the HMBS Flamingo. Remember that? And we acknowledge them as national heroes. But you are heroes in and of yourselves. Just like all the fruits ripen in the summer, you're not going to get harvested come September. Only thing y'all did over the summer was get ripe and polished. And I don't know whether you can nap or plum or dilly, you're not getting picked. And that's what you do. Teachers are the quintessence of what Jesus expressed, the most potent essence of what he expressed. And we don't see it. And many of the lessons in life we don't get is because we fail to acknowledge what something is. And you know you can lose a blessing by not acknowledging what something actually is. Because where you don't have an understanding, your abuse will be inevitable. Right now, teachers are going through much abuse when it comes down to national grade average. And we fail to realize as a country that we are criticizing the practitioner, whereas education is a lifelong experience that starts in the womb. It started with parents, it started with pastors, prophets, sages, poets, lifelong learning experience. But when we take the education, relegate it to a couple of hours in a class, sign it up, you know. When our children come home, we teach them, do all kinds of things, the counteract, all that stuff you pump in their head. Then every day it's like, you ever notice that sometimes in your class, you come back again, it's like you got to start over fresh, like somebody deprogrammed the child, you just pump everything into. Then we can turn around and say, you know, fail. Whereas it's a national failure. And it's just like Jesus Christ. You can die on Calvary and everybody lifted up and so on and so forth, and plenty of people go on to hell because they don't see, recognize, and appreciate what you're doing. Why do I say I believe the true teacher is like Christ? You die. When you teach, you give of yourself. I'll give an example that the preacher might can appreciate. They say 30 minutes worth of Baptist style preaching is equivalent to 8 hours worth of work. When you preach, you don't go and go sleep, right? When you spoke, didn't you feel a little fatigue afterward? Because you spoke in earnest. When you teach, do you feel a type of fatigue? Audio, sometime when you reach home, husband, hi honey. Mommy. You know what you do? You are giving out of your essence. When a teacher teaches in earnest, you're not just talking, not just demonstrating, you are giving of your essence. You're giving of your virtue. You know what virtue is? The woman that came behind Jesus and you know what came out of him? Virtue. When you teach and you are imparting to your children, you are giving of virtue. You're giving of your life essence. And you're trying to hammer that in. And believe it or not, and we're going to skip to a bunch of different things. Believe it or not, that is why it's very important that teachers, principals, have a place to recharge, have an environment where they can recharge, have an environment where they can be readjusted, because every classroom session is a giving of your self-experience. Like a mother will suckle from the breast. That's giving of that mother. But you see, you know what? All of us look at things as a nation in many instances, but don't see what we look at. Oh, you're not just a bunch of teachers. Go teach, just like I just go to my job. It's just a job. The few jobs gives of essence. Maybe musicians, maybe poets, because it's similar when you speak out of yourself. Preachers speak out of yourself. But many jobs, especially people who criticize you, don't have the kind of job that give of your essence. You do that. And that is why you should be treated in a special way. That is why I look at you as national heroes. Why national heroes? You shape and mold the mindset of our people, the direction of our country, how we move, and impact every part of society. Yes, it's true that in some ways there's part to blame, but when you put it as a whole, you begin to realize that you're fighting against the tide. So there's some things we're going to have to speak about today that hopefully will help you to see what I see in us. You're the expert. I'm not going to walk into your field or pretend to be you. You can show me a lot of things within the class. But I'm showing you my perspective of you. And I dare to say I am not alone. There are many out there who see and understand and appreciate what I do. Teachers are very, very unique. And that uniqueness actually sometimes creates your downfall. Many times, and I've discerned this, when teachers respond in certain ways that people consider negative, many times it's the same human reaction because of lack of appreciation. And appreciation isn't always selfish, necessarily, become something. Appreciation of the value of what was being done and what had been done. And people's response to that and treat you as if you have no value. And then many times your own peers don't support you sufficiently. I've seen that happen. Don't know your business, don't care you know your business, but I've seen it happen. Let's set some benchmarks that will probably bring this home. First of all, as an individual, I will invite you and make a note of this. In every situation, one of the first things I want you to do is to establish your credibility as a professional. Establish your credibility as a professional. Stop assuming that people know how to treat you. Don't even assume the Ministry of Education know how to treat you. Don't assume that when you come before the class or student, I am teacher right on the board. Definition of a teacher is someone who imparts knowledges and learning, and expect for them to understand. Remember, people who are looking at you aren't necessarily seeing you. Your principal looked rather multitudinous with that hairdo and everything, and it struck me for a couple of minutes. Hi, man. Take me back, all that hair fix up right. Now I sure I catch you one day, the wind blow, hair swept back and everything else, so on and so forth. I can walk around, Miss Rule, I may say 6'6". Because I don't know. I may walk around with Pastor, he looking so nice and relaxed and so on, looking like the average Joe. Walk around, say, I don't drink, but hey bro, here's a Guinness. Hey, come have a Guinness with me, let's go chill out, let's go to the club, G. Because I'm looking at him, but I'm not saying who he is, because I don't know who he is. And until people know who you are, they know how to treat you. Always remember, people, because they're in your presence, you introduce yourself, doesn't mean people know who you are. That comes from personal experience, personal interaction. Even your students need to know what and who a teacher is. Why? Because that's a frame of reference. And anywhere you plan to chart a course, you must have a point of reference. Before the plane left from NASA,